All right, hello everyone. It's Mystic Juicer back with some more Yomi action. This time it is Lum's Lucky Lottery, myself versus I Am Nobody. Yeah, so a bit of a reprise of the matchup we saw from the other side versus Carousel, where I played the Persephone side. So we get to see this from the Onimaru side instead. So those 7s are going to be very important to hang on to. The opening plays I have are just to duff a throw as hard as possible with that 8. Or I can block with the 6. That is basically it. I could also attack with the 5 if I really expect an opening normal. But the only reason we would really see an opening normal is if, for instance, I'm Nobody started with basically nothing else in hand except for 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, something like that. Okay, nice. We duff a good throw. Get to cash out some damage. Now we just got to do that 3 more times-ish. So as soon as we've got a single throw in the discard, we can start seeing some dodges here. Okay, there we go. Opens up slow side of Jack. That's also a very good opener. The only thing it loses to is Ace, 3, Queen, or Jack on my end. And none of those are particular. I mean, yeah, okay, Ace and 3 are maybe some amount of likely, but not tremendously. I think he's going to throw me here. Okay. Yeah, so throw dodge is the kind of the typical early game mix-up for Persephone. So we navigate our way out of there. We're back to neutral. We don't have any high normals, so we can't really play any of that stuff. We do have to defend ourselves against throw a little bit. Unfortunately, General's Armor does not work against special attacks. So we get put right back on the ground. We're at 70 hit points, so he's got that 10 hit point life lead. We've got 2 queens in hand, though. That's going to be nice. Okay. Gets rid of a 10. That's unfortunate for us. Very important that we have some throws in this matchup. Because we don't want to allow Persephone to dodge as much as she wants, because she is going to want to dodge a lot. So we could wake up 7 here. It's possible that he's convinced that we have a DP. And we can pump with the king and a 2. Okay, no, just the single king. 11 damage is fine. Might have been better to pump. Well, no, okay. If we pump for another 4 damage, he's at 42. That doesn't bring him into range of 2 attack lethal. So actually just pumping the once is just fine. So no throws. So we're going to opt for a block here to see if we can get any kind of additional card draw. I want to be a little wary of raw Mistress's Command or dodge into Mistress's Command. Okay, that's 3 aces in hand now. So that's pretty scary. So a couple of options he's got here. He can throw into ace-ace. He can dodge into single ace or double ace. He can just raw ace-ace if he thinks that we don't have final authority. And we don't. Okay, it looks like I'm trying to go for a throw. No, okay. So I think I have enough pressure to be able to threaten. I think throw with the 10 is more likely to win than attack with the 10. Okay, would have lost. Both sides of that would have lost. So we are going to take some damage here. Yep, 27. So didn't want to play it raw. He knows I like to block. That is a read about how I play. Okay, gets the 10 back. That's very good. So we have Jack, King, 10, 3, and 3 aces. Oh no, sorry, no. Not yet. No. He just spent 2 of them. But we know he has a single ace in hand. Okay, bury soul, very likely to lose the 9 here. Oh, and he does not power up for additional cards. So dodge into single ace or throw is kind of the mix-up at the moment. Could see a cross-up attempt. No, he's got the Jack and the King. So dodge is very strong because wake up DP to option select against both of those. So I think just blocking this dodge. Okay, yeah, that's good too. Goes for the raw. Mistress's Command, getting greedy. Lets us have the 6. Still got 2 queens in hand. So we're doing okay. Goes for another barrier soul. 8, 4, 5. Probably, yeah, okay, forces the 9, yeah, that's smart. Makes a lot of sense. So again, we know Jack, King, 3 is in his hand. There should be no more aces. So DP to option select Jack or King, or throw to beat the dodge. Should have thrown, gets the dodge off. I don't particularly need to face down here. I know I'm taking 10 or 9 damage. He only gets a single card back. It is going to be the ace. Just checking if there's anything I really want to save out of that hand. He gives me the 8. So that I think that's a bit of an error. I understand the reasoning because it's a dead card in this particular situation, but giving Onimaru throws when you probably suspect he doesn't have any throws or many throws. Goes for the raw Mistress Command again. This time it does not pay off for him. So that's nice for us. Again, kind of a greedy play there. Definitely wanting to punish a throw, wake up throw. So perhaps thinks I've got more 7s in hand than I actually do. So if he thinks I have a 7, then that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what his valuation of my hand is. So I'm just going to play stuff that deals a lot of damage. So face down, but who cares? He's already got essentially all the tools that I'm scared of anyway. Yeah, so no jacks in hand. 3 aces in discard, so very unlikely he's got an ace anymore. Queens are possible. He could just have a bunch of throws. I didn't get a quick look at what throws he had in the discard. I don't think he's thrown with too many 7s. They're not the dominant throw in the matchup anyway, as my 7s will beat his. So he may be pushed away from doing that. He might have attack as a larger part of his range as a result. So we can dodge into 6 here, putting him at 10. Another face down, but no reason to respect this either. Probably should have hung on to the 2 and pumped with the 3 instead. having the Joker is very handy. It's going to continue to deny all of my final authorities. Him having all the jacks in the discard means that his throws are just slightly less threatening. So he can't kill off of this, I'm like 99% sure. But might as well bluff, just to make it certain. We hang on to the Joker. He gets single ace back. And he has Mistresses commanded twice on face down here. Or on wake up. Puts the additional ace in hand, so he's got ace ace to put me down to 1 hit point. Yeah, gives ace. That's pretty useless given his mix-up. So our options are block ace ace, or duff his throw attempt, or throw his dodge attempt. Okay, we survive. Thankfully, he doesn't go for a greedy throw there. So we're doing pretty good. He's going to give us another known card. It gives us a king. Again, fairly useless. Compared to the 9, he's definitely going to deny us there. Yeah, tosses the 9 to the discard. We do have ace ace though. That is 20 damage. If he has a Joker, he could think like, okay, there's so few things. Actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. Any attack is going to kill him if it hits. The only thing he can Joker are throws. There is still that single ace. Yep, and there we go. So narrowly close out game 1 with a win. Happy to see that happen. And we will see what happens next. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, I am nobody. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Chooses the Irie random. So it's going to be me playing something versus Persephone. Okay, there we go. BBB. All right, so again, a character I am somewhat familiar with. I at least have some knowledge of how to play BBB, or how I would want to play BBB. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test the theory here, which is that BBB's blocks are incredible. And nobody wants to go to range. So I expect I am nobody to be playing a pretty heavy attack and dodge range. Yeah. I open up with a lot of kings in hand, so that's going to be useful going forward. I've got a jack, which is going to be nice in neutral. Pick up a 2, which is not tremendously useful at this point. Yeah, so my personal thoughts on BBB are that he's secretly actually pretty damn good, but that people who play him don't block enough. I don't think they recognize the terror of playing against BBB and wanting to play basically nothing that puts you to range, especially throws, where if any normal comes out from BBB, and BBB's normals are pretty bad. They're pretty fair in that you can, most characters can play a pretty healthy range of options against him. That's going to make his life difficult. Okay, so we get him with the king. Goes for immediate dodge, just not to take 13 or to get hit by a normal. Turning those kings around so that I know where they are. And Persephone basically just has the queen, wake up queen to beat range, right? She can do wake up queen, she can do ace ace. But everything else she has is going to lose to queen. So it's actually pretty brutal situation when she gets knocked down. So he's standing again, and I'm basically playing at this point just to get as much damage as possible. I'm not taking any risks really, because even if he beats whatever I'm playing, we go back out of range and I've got a ton of options. So feeling pretty happy about the situation here. I've got a cross up 3, but nothing to cross it up into really. So I would much rather just, play my special cards, play king queen games, and then occasionally dodge. If I draw an ace, then I can start thinking about doing cross up 3 on knockdown to get that 14 damage. But until then we're just fine. We've got a tremendous life lead right now. The longer I can keep this range going, the better it's going to be for me. And go for 13 here just to try to close things out as quickly as possible. And once we leave range, we're still going to be in a really good spot. We'll have aces for days. We can power up a lot of those kings with the queens if we need to. We have we have overdrive. It's all good. Okay, so no more dodges. Okay, hits us with the queen, but he is again at 18 hit points. So we're in a pretty good spot. There's really no reason not to power up 2 kings. Could go for the mix-up, but we don't have a dodge, so it's less valuable. Honestly, just going to block here is perfectly fine. For me, I mean. I am nobody has to be careful about every combat option because BBB's throws are actually pretty fast. They do an okay amount of damage, and I can combo into queen for lethal at any point. I am a little worried about getting hit with... Okay, so on your knees is not the worry. It's actually Mistress's Command. But at this point, I don't think he can really deny me any options. Like, he could get rid of a Joker, but don't really care. Here's where I should definitely power up those queens. The queens are not going to be useful anymore. Or maybe even the kings. The kings are not going to be tremendously useful anymore. Just getting ace-ace for guaranteed lethal is way more valuable. So I've got the Joker, so I can be pretty aggressive this turn. I could play single ace. The only thing that beats it is raw ace-ace. Everything else is going to be beaten by the Joker being there. Decide to go for the throw because I've got the safety net, and we'll try to go for lethal here. There we go, game 2. So pretty clean. We drew a pretty insane hand, which made that pretty punishing. Yeah, I mean, not much more to say about that. Okay, yeah, there we go. The true brutality, like, can I am nobody please draw like into a good matchup? I can work with this. Okay, so here's the secret to beating all rooks 100% of the time. As soon as you draw aces, play them. As soon as you draw jacks in the early game, play them. Otherwise, play blocks and normals. Because rook suffers so badly at range against BBB, the free damage of single ace in the early game, it's not even that it's free damage, but it's a single ace on your part, which you're easily going to be able to power up for later. But also it's going to defeat an option that he desperately needs to be able to contend in neutral and not to go to range. Anytime you are able to go to a life lead against Rook in the early game is a fantastic time. So now that we've beaten a single king, I don't have any more great options, so I'm just going to go to Block City. I'm going to block, and I'm going to see how many jacks and queens I get to defend against, how many ace-ace, how many jokers he's willing to spend. And then eventually I'm going to have a huge hand, and maybe I get hit with a king or a normal throw a couple of times, but it's only 10 or 15 damage, so whatever. Okay, there we go. We've got a really good hand for this, so I'm going to be able to pump the gyro spin for a bunch of free damage, or I can just tag the ace on. That's good too. So there we go. 17 damage. Still essentially at 100 hit points. Or, sorry, still essentially at full hit points. All of our junk shots become active. I'm expecting a block. I'm expecting a special block, hence why I'm going in with the 4 instead of the queen. So I don't want to take 13 right off the bat. Losing range and getting him the joker so quickly, or getting him free aces, is a little bit bad. So that's unfortunate. The way I'm going to lose this matchup is if I get hit with Checkmate Buster or too many ace-ace. So we'll try to maneuver around that as much as possible. So we go to range again. Again, we get some free damage here. Yeah, toss the 8s. I want to hang on to the dodges. I want to hang on to overdrive. And a 2 is better than a 3, kind of. Specifically against Rook, because all of his special blocks are on odd blocks. So having the 2 to be able to cross up is pretty good. So if he ace-aces, that's great for me, because it takes a bunch of options out of his hand. It's going to make it that much more difficult for him to play Checkmate Buster specifically, but also to be able to contend in neutral when we go back to range, or when we go back in close. So I'm pretty mindlessly going to press the queen button here. Yeah, hits me with the entangling vines. So not great, but again, it's 5 damage. I don't really mind. His play here is either to block if he thinks that I'm going to block, or to hit me with a 4 if he thinks that I'm going to wake up queen. So blocking with the 2 is an option. Okay, there we go. Oh no, sorry, the 2 undercuts the 4. Oh my god. What a terrible matchup. What an awful, awful matchup for Rook. Okay, Rock Armor's out. He's got 6 cards in hand. At this point, I'm basically just going to play into ace-ace. There is no reason for me to protect myself from ace-ace, because if he hits me with it, then I'm actually... I should be in the clear. I should then be able to win the game fairly easily. Again, the only thing I can't afford to lose to is Checkmate Buster. So let's try to get in there. We don't yet have lethal off of gyro spin. I guess I suppose I could overdrive 3 times and then play the queen. But then again, that opens up an avenue where he could potentially kill me. Okay, dodge Wall of Vines. We don't have a tremendous amount of damage off of this. We can just, yeah, we can hit him with queen for 15. We could just hit him with Robo Headbutt for 10. Either way, that's fine. Yeah, we got plenty of 9s. We do not need 3 of them in hand. We have plenty of jokers. We're doing fine there as well. Robo Headbutt into Queen is lethal. But he's got to want to throw us. So the question is, does he want to throw us or does he want to block potentially a normal to bring him to range? So I think he wants to block. Nope, he wants to hit us in the face. But again, he is rapidly running out of options here. So we have an overdrive potential set up here. We can dodge into king for range. We can queen him for a bunch of damage. That's a nice win there. Get to take him to range and knock him down, set him up to 17 hit points. And we can overdrive twice. If he doesn't have pretty much anything. Like he's got to have ace ace, or he's got to have another joker, because everything else is going to lose to gyro spin. He can wake up with a jack, but it's still going to leave him at 1 hit point after this turn. So this is a 100% queen. And then we can do it again on the next turn. We still got 2 jokers in hand. So, you know, yeah, we lost. We didn't even lose that much health. We lost 30 hit points. And we've essentially got a checkmate. There we go. Game 3. So we're doing really well. I am nobody with a bit of the mental guard crush here. And honestly, I should probably re-random myself and just try to win against Rook. The issue is I just don't know how to play against Rook all that well, except with specific characters. So that's why I'm hesitant to let him continue to play him. But instead, I get like a good version of Rook, so which is very unfortunate. So we have a chance. We have a chance here. This is an even matchup, but we don't have a lot of the same options in the early game that we did. Yeah, we don't have a lot of the same options that we do in the early game against Rook. Like we can't just play single ace because Trock actually has queens, and if he plays queens, he beats our single ace. Yeah, he's got bull charge. He can beat our normals that way. But again, we're going to try to block our way into a good spot here. If we get kinged, then hey, we got kinged. And that happens sometimes. Blocked with the 2. Go ahead, block with the 8. The 8 is less valuable. The 2 can get us to normal. It's our only range setting normal at this point. We want to hang on to the extensor grab because when we put Trock to range, we want to be grabbing his blocks a lot more. Yeah, he's just getting us with the opening throws because we are too scared of Jack and Queen. And he's getting some really big normal throws in. So very different situation. This does indicate he probably doesn't have a king. So going in with the 2 is actually probably fine. We can attempt it anyway. Okay, there we go. We get hit with the queen. Okay, War Stomp instead of holding on to the dodge. That's odd to me. Throwing away the 7's probably not great. May have been better just to get rid of one of the jacks. If I'm blocking with anything, I'm probably blocking with the 3. Okay, there we go. So we go to range, finally. He's got 1 attached block. We've got a lot of work to do here at range. He may not even need to attach another block, but we're going to try to prevent it, I think, with a first turn king. Yeah. And the reason I'm not playing first turn queen is I just want to try to prevent him from getting the attached block for free. So it would have been correct to queen him, but generally I think going for an early king is more better. It's definitely more better. All right, 7 cards in hand. He didn't spend any resources getting out of range, which is unfortunate for us. Hits us with another queen. And we are rapidly accelerating towards accidental good move being lethal. Haven't been able to build up enough of a hand size to really threaten ace-ace in neutral, and so get some stuff going that way. And we're at 27 hit points anyway. We've barely dealt any damage to Troc. Okay, we defend ourselves against the king. That's good. Finally get some damage in here. Yeah, I would have held back the ace if he had face down just to try to constrain his hand as much as possible. See if we can get some stuff going. Okay, another War Stomp. At this point, probably get rid of the 5. Yeah, I don't know about getting rid of the 7's. It's a pretty good, it's an okay throw. I don't know, I can see it both ways. I mean, it's very unlikely he's going to be neutral, like throwing us with a throw that loses to 7. I think it's very likely to be kings all the way down. Okay, good dodge. We're going to bluff this. Just in case he has ace-ace. Okay, there we go. Makes ace-ace real. And now it's either raw ace-ace or dodge into ace-ace or cross up into ace-ace. Cross up into ace-ace is the least likely one. So that's probably the one I'm going to hedge against the least. So I'm just going to go ahead and block. And we get crossed up. So gutsy play on I'm Nobody's part there. Nicely done. And clutches out that game in a commanding fashion. Yeah, definitely not a clutch out. Sorry. It takes that game in a very commanding fashion. And now, unfortunately, I'm stuck in a position where I have to re-random him. I'm not going to give him Troc. See if we can close things out with BBB here. Okay, BBB versus Setsuki. Again, not a great matchup, I think. Definitely one I've got like no experience with. So we'll see what we can do. So the name of the game is Duffing Throws and Blocking Queens. Yeah, the thing, I mean, we've got to be worried about jacks, queens, and kings as starters. We've got to be worried about 2s and 3s as starters. So there's just a lot of stuff that Setsuki can play in neutral that's going to give us some trouble. So is it duff a throw or is it block a queen? So it's duff a throw and hit, eat a queen. Okay, like to see that ace disappear there. Means that we're probably not going to be hit with a ton of damage into ace. Okay, tosses a 7. So kept 1 card in hand. Could well be a 7, since he's already discarded 1. No. Okay, kept a card. Oh, sorry, it's the... No, it wasn't the ace. Some other throw, perhaps? Could be the Joker. Joker and Queen are the default assumptions. Okay, so that could very well have been the Queen that he kept. In which case, we're down 2 queens. That's good. We get duffed with a 2. This could be big damage here. Normal starter. Yeah, Starlight Kick. Very big damage. Into 5-6. Yeah, that's pretty tremendous. 27. Already at 30 hit points. Not a scratch on Setsuki. So again, block an attack, duff a throw. Yeah, or attack into a dodge. That can happen too. Really no reason to face down here, especially with a dodge. Dodges can be very valuable. Okay, actually respected it and threw with the 7. So, okay, no, he's just going to power up out of this. Or not. Yeah, nope, powers up out of it. Okay, so 2 queens, 2 aces, king and a jack in the discard. Basically no throws played. Yeah, definitely Setsuki, definitely a character that gives me a lot of trouble. And especially as BBB, I have no idea how I'm supposed to be playing this matchup. Okay, there we go. Get a nice robo headbutt. Get a normal draw off of this. Ah, no, never mind. Alright, we'll just deal 10 damage. He'll get out of his hand. Probably. Okay, throws a king and queen in the discard, so very likely that he's got... Okay, no, just has the aces to power up out of it. But still, a lot of... a lot of stuff in the discard now. On Speed of the Fox turns, I'm probably more worried about dodge throw as a mix-up than I am about queen throw. But at least we deny the perfect. That's always nice. I don't even really have anything off the robo headbutt, to be quite honest. So it's a matter if I think that throw or dodge is more likely. I think dodge is more likely, to be quite honest, so... okay, well, aces are also a thing. So I think that's the 4th ace, so I don't need to do anything to that. But at this point, even though he has used up, like finally he's used up basically all of the incredible tools in his deck, although I don't think he's played many J's, so he probably still has some jacks left over. I'm at 15 hit points, so, and I don't deal, I mean, BBB doesn't have a tremendous amount of burst, so it's going to be very difficult to have made anything out of this this particular game. And that should be GG. Yeah. So nicely played. I'm Nobody still not out of it. So again, I am basically stuck on BBB because I don't want to randomly fight Setsuki. I didn't feel like I'm having a think about whether I got any kind of information about his preferred range of play, but No, fundamentally, I don't want to be fighting Setsuki with an RNG. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to BBB and re-random him again. And right back into Troc. So that's a little saddening. But at least this is at least an even matchup. It's at least a matchup against the character I feel okay about. So I lose to first turn king, so I should just block. He has turn 1 normal thrown me before, but I think I'll just go ahead and block some. So again, that singleton ace, just not as valuable as it would be in the versus rook matchup, for instance. So first turn queen, does he go second turn queen? No, second turn king. Gets the damage, but again, really only had queen or ace to play against that. And just really didn't want to do it. So again, block or attack range at the moment. The 4, a less valuable card in this matchup than it would be ordinarily. Because it does tie against Troc's 4. And if you do tie, you do not go to range. So we're going to try to avoid that happening. Okay, War Stomp. Again, I don't really get the idea of playing War Stomp as an ability, especially not at range. I could see it at range maybe. If you want to deny BBB his dodge, for instance. Something like that. Okay, yeah. King setup. But again, I don't know. I think the dodge is just more valuable. It's possible he's playing the 10 just to cycle his deck to try to find face cards as rapidly as possible. That could make a certain amount of sense. But again, I think just dodging in neutral is great. Like, it's really good. You should do it because it's, you know, 8 free damage or more if you've got aces. Keeps you away from range. Bit of back and forth between 5ek, I suppose. Oh yeah, this was right on the heels of Fluffiness winning Summer Smash from loser's side. Okay, so we're finally at range. We don't have any kings, which is the card I would desperately love to play in this instance. So 13 damage is not great against the fact that he now has Beast Unleashed coming back from range. So I would much, much, much rather have thrown if I could have. But unfortunately, that's just not in the cards. It's quite literally. So dodging here is just to catch Gold Burst. Okay, we get rid of a dodge. That's good too. Got to try to stretch this this range as long as possible. If he dodges these queens, that's good for us as well, because it just means less dodges for him to play in neutral. So 7 cards, has spent, I think, 4 dodges total. We get the Joker. That's good. So we're no longer playing terrified of Beast Unleashed. And try to duff something big here. There we go. Back to range. I should probably toss a queen on top of this. Or actually, yeah, it's kind of tough to pump, so maybe that is less good than it could have been. Still 21 damage as opposed to 17. Yeah, probably not tremendously big a difference. We pick up another ace, so that's good too. Oh, no, sorry, we didn't play the ace. Never mind. Yeah, so at this point, just trying to avoid gold bursts. Spending the dodges is really nice. Okay, we finally pick up a throw, so we can start punishing blocks. But he knows we've got queen, so maybe less likely that he's willing to block at range. Okay, there we go. Get the extensor grab. This is what we're looking for. Try to punish defensive play as much as possible. Trying to run him out of blocks and, well, not blocks, but run him out of dodges and actually be able to punish those dodges. Here's a good spot for a dodge. Again, trying to catch a gold burst. Yeah, there we go. And we've got a call to make. Do we cash out for 13 or do we knock down? Cash out for 13 is the answer. So we've got 3 more of those and we close out this game. I want to hang on to the overdrive for when we come out of range. Okay, there we go. Gets us with the queen. And we're back into Beast Unleashed territory. Okay, so he definitely has Beast Unleashed. He has 4 dodges left in his deck. So I think Overdrive here is a pretty good mix-up. I could kill him off of Gyro Spin if he doesn't have another Joker. I can potentially catch Beast Unleashed. And I do the stupidest thing possible, which is not read what the card does and play the wrong side of Jack instead. So, yeah. So, like an idiot. I mean, luckily we don't, lose the game off of that mistake. But, yeah, that's pretty bad. So he gets off another block. Again, we're really playing with fire here. Dodge into Beast Unleashed is much more likely than raw Beast Unleashed, so I should actually probably be dodging here to try to act like, oh, I don't have the Joker or something like that. I considered bluffing here, but I think it's just way too likely that he conserves Beast Unleashed. I'm not powering up all 3 queens because, again, they're still going to close out the game much faster off of a random hit, and also at range they're going to be more valuable. So I don't want to spend all of them. I want to keep some of them in hand. Yeah, the game is pretty much Wake Up Throw or Wake Up Piston Hurricane, depending on how I think he's going to play it. Just playing a jack or a queen for him is actually pretty good from this position. Yeah, that's what ends up happening. And we lose, I think that may be the 4th king. I'm not too sure. No, 3 kings in the discard. So again, I've got another draw set up here. So I should probably go for it. It's not going to be lethal. to overdrive with long arm. That would be 28 maximum. I could have lethal off attack using Robo Headbutt, but it's very unlikely. With that many kings in the discard, there's very few things. I mean, dodge is very strong here, and that is what he ends up doing. I was just hoping that he was out of them, and this is going to be Beast Unleashed. Yeah, there you go. So one joker in the discard, very strong likelihood that he's running low on dodges. So just misplayed the end of that game. So came fairly close, but just didn't play well enough to close it out. So now I've got to think about whether I want to play a random character against Troc, that's pretty bad, or hope that he randoms himself into something that I can handle as BBB. And so we're going to go for option number 2. This is for all of the round objects. Yep, it's marbles time. Okay, and it's versus Jaina again. Pretty awful matchup, I think, for BBB. But we're going to see what we can make happen. So name of the game, early game, is going to be try to block and get cards so that we can play ace-ace. Because, yeah, all of Jaina's moves come back, and all of Jaina's moves deal a tremendous amount of damage. And she actually has the life lead, or the hit point. She has more hit points in this matchup, which is not always something that happens. And yeah, so she's going to have a ton of moves at 2.4 speed that she can recur, and that gives BBB a tremendous amount of trouble. So I'm going to be looking for dodges. I'm going to be looking for very few opportunities to be able to sneak in throws if I can. And I'm mostly going to be trying to threaten ace-ace as much as I possibly can get away with. So opens up with a 10 block and then a queen, expecting me to go in with some damage. Again, the safe thing is just to block forever. She's only at 7 cards. Throws mean that she doesn't get to recur. I should not be blocking with the 2 because that is a pair with the 7 that I should be holding on to. Okay, go to range. Not ideal. Although we can now threaten a bunch of 2.2 speed moves with queen. So in theory, we've got a pretty good setup here. The issue is I don't want to spend too many dodges at range, because if I do, I might just be checkmated by moves in the late game, as her double ace move is 0.2 speed. So clashes are going to be really, really, really bad for me if she has any hit point lead in the late game. Okay, luckily my successful queens are going to deal 13 here. So I'm hoping that he can't contend with queen. Then he's going to start blocking. Try to hit him with the turn two king. Instead, gets us with the wake up queen. I'm going to hold off on powering up for a little bit longer. Because again, okay, there we go. I've got single ace. Single ace is actually quite good in neutral here. Good stay off me move. Okay, unstable power. So our play is either duff a throw as hard as we possibly can, or block or dodge. I have an opportunity here to overdrive, but I choose not to take it. And I'm just going to play the biggest possible duff I can. because I think that this is one of the few opportunities where I'm Nobody can take a risk as Jaina and really get a lot of damage in. So I'm going to try to deny that as much as possible. This is a very good spot. I mean, it's a very good if he's got Joker set up, because he's only going to take, 17 damage. But I mean, this is the only way I win this matchup, so I have to go in here. And 36 damage is pretty good, and that's +7 from the unstable power turn. So just like that, we have a massive life lead. And yeah, just want to try to take this into the late game as much as possible. Take as few risks from here on out as we can. We've got a Joker, so we can afford to dodge and play risky and stuff. But we're just going to try to batten down the hatches, play super, super conservative, and hopefully Jaina just dies and we don't have to take too many risks to do it. Yeah, we don't care about kings. We're not going to range anymore. It's just about aces now. Let's see what we can do. So holding on to the overdrive, why do that? If I ever pick up a jack, it basically means I have an infinite DP that Jaina has to respect. So that's pretty good as things go. So I'm taking this throw risk because I'm a crazy person and I want to die apparently. Don't know why I threw the 2 away rather than the 6, for instance. Yeah, no buyback on any cards. Jaina is an honest character now. Single ace in hand. I think dodge is pretty strong for me and for her in this instance. I have secret double ace, so that's also good. I think I'm going to hold on to that for one more turn. Okay, block a 2. So nice setup attempt there from him. Playing the 3. Then I go, oh, hey, well, if I have a 2, I can undercut all of his normals. And then I got blown up, so that would be pretty bad. I've got a single 6 there, so I can power up for another ace if he does manage to dodge this. So I'm just trying to close that out, and thankfully he does not. And we get him. So, yeah. That could have been very, very different. Kudos to I Am Nobody for keeping it together and nearly making the comeback. Just happened to have an incorrect call on a power up turn, and I was able to capitalize on that. He could have played super, super, super safe, and I just hoped that he wasn't going to. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the game, and yeah, until next time, enjoy yourselves some Yomi, and don't get headbutt. Cheers.